Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm excited for you to be here today. I'm Kayla. I'm your host. Today, we're going to be talking about my brand new course that is launching today. It's called the Get Organized at Work Blueprint. It is not live. If you are listening right this morning, early AM, when this podcast came out, if you're driving to work in the morning, it's not live yet, but it will be live this afternoon around 4 p.m. Central. So I will be sending an email to my email community as well as my Get Organized at Work podcast community when it's live around that 4 p.m. Central time. So if you are not part of my email list or my community, the links to those are in the show notes or the description below so that you get notified. So if you hop over to our community this afternoon around that 4 p.m. time, I'm going to be doing a live tutorial of the course and going inside of it, showing it to you. I'll probably be talking about organizing your digital files because I promised I'd go over a webinar on that. So we're just going to be doing like a learning session. It's going to be fun. It's going to be casual, and you're going to get an insider look inside of the course. And you get to see how it's laid out. And you'll get to just kind of get the vibes for my teaching style because I'll play some of the lessons for you just briefly so you can see like the slides and the picture of me and how everything is organized. So I just want to go over on this episode what I'm going to be talking about inside the course. I'm going to be talking about organizing your thinking and how to discover the proactive success mindset. And I wanted to teach on this algorithm a little bit in today's episode. One of the things that I've discovered over the years is the value of using what I love to call the leader standard work tool. And it's something that I learned from others in the industry about how to sort of create a work habit tracker. And one of the things I learned is that when you are very intentional with your time, as well as have self-awareness and can reflect on everything that you do, this makes you very proactive. You can get ahead of things. You can think and anticipate things that other people cannot see. And because of this, you are thinking way ahead and you can drive strategic results for yourself. And as a leader, a manager, and a high-performing individual, that's really important. We can spin our wheels focusing on tasks and to-dos and never feel like we're quite attaining anything. We might even look at our goals at the end of the year and think, did we really even work on that stuff? Did we even achieve that? And then it's very disappointing when it comes to review time. So when we think about the success mindset algorithm that I teach about in the course, I talk a lot about creating systems for you to have awareness of yourself and the work that's going on to choose the right work to move the needle forward. And for me, that is focusing on the end game or the outcomes and then working backwards. So if we think about the goal that we're aiming to achieve, and then we think about what systems or processes we need or workflows we need to achieve that, then we can narrowly think of the specific tasks and to-dos that we need to be able to accomplish that large end game or outcome. And a lot of people do the opposite. They spend their days thinking about their tasks and to-dos without really the end in mind. So for me, that doesn't equate to awareness of the future. This is not very proactive and it's not very intentional. So that's the first thing that I would change and that I teach on in the course is really thinking about outcomes instead of tasks. And then I teach on leader standard work and help you create a leader standard work template. I talk all about what it is, how to learn on what to focus on what matters every day and how to connect your leader standard work with your calendar. And what leader standard work is a visual management tool that helps you see your day. It helps you learn and reflect and make better decisions for the future. So if you pair that with the self-awareness you can make more intentional decisions. So you'll find that once you start using leader standard work, you're very strategic about what you work on every day. You don't get as easily distracted by, oh, that email, got to take care of that email. Oh, that person walked into my office, got to take care of them. You are very focused on what you know is going to move the needle, very intentional. So, pairing that with the awareness of what outcomes you're hoping to achieve, being very selective about what you work on, that helps you be very proactive and really forward thinking. And that helps you drive your results. So, that second module is on leader standard work. The third module that I teach on is all about organizing and prioritizing your projects. And I go deep into how to create a project roadmap, talking about what it is, how to learn how to prioritize projects for the entire year, sort of the litmus test for which projects get moved forward and which don't, and what questions to ask yourself to really focus on prioritizing and what your team can handle in terms of workload, timing, maybe political landscape of the organization, resource availability, etc. I also talk about how to update and keep your roadmap relevant so that you use it, and how to use it as a communication tool for yourself, your team, and your leaders, how to use it to create trust within a team or a team of leaders so everybody knows what everyone else is working on and knows, hey, I can help. Here's how I can step up to help. Here's the feedback I can offer you. And it creates a safe space on the team to be able to ask for help too, to be like, hey, I'm kind of stuck. Does anybody know the next right step? The fourth module that I teach on is how to focus on the right work and how to delegate effectively. I teach my specific method for who to delegate to, but I also teach on what type of work should be delegated and why most professionals and leaders don't delegate and why you should. I also speak on and show how to template your work to support those you delegate to. People often make the error of saying, okay, great, you've agreed to do this thing, you can go ahead and do this task, but then they don't offer support and they don't actually provide any work aids or tools or previous resources for people to look at. They just sort of like let go and let God. So we really need to help set our folks up for success because delegation is really a form of growth and development opportunities. So I love that module. It's a one to teach on and exciting to be able to template your work. It helps with succession planning too, or if you're going to go out of the office for a bit of time, you've got your work aids made. It's not something to be worried or feel fearful about. You should not be worried about being replaced because you're not supposed to be delegating the spirit of your role. You're supposed to be delegating things that other people can do, right? And then save the things that only you can do in your role or in your specific strength. All right. The fifth module that I teach on is developing your leadership presence and creating your personal work brand. So I love this one because every time I teach on this, people are so excited because they're like, oh my gosh, what I've learned about myself does ring really true. And it's helped me develop self-awareness for how I work with myself and with others. Specifically, it helps people call out, oh, this is how I am just by default. And we can show up with our traits in a good way on a good day. And we can also show up with those same traits in a bad way on a bad day. So how can we use those traits for good and really create a hallway brand, as I like to call it, the thing that people are going to walk away from your interaction with and be like, oh yeah, that person's really organized. How can we make that perception and give you a personal work brand? This is going to help you determine how you show up daily, how you want to present yourself. You can really make any sort of avatar or what is it called? Sasha Fierce, your alter ego. But I really argue that you want to show up your whole self as a real human in alignment with who you are outside of work and inside of work. So I'm going to help you do that, but also make sure that it's a professional way and then it's in a way that you want to be perceived. The last module is on communicating proactively, creating your clear communication strategy. So I talk through why proactive communication boosts your career growth and advancement, and I give you some key elements that you must include in your communication if you want it to be received well and to feel like you are listening and you're hearing the audience who needs that communication. I also share how to learn to anticipate and communicate early and often, some things to listen for or to listen for things that aren't being said. And I provide specific communication tools, channels, and templates and give you specific scenarios for when you might want to use each thing. So at the end of the day, you will have a proactive communication strategy and toolkit for yourself to lean on and develop over time as you find communication strategies that work really well or ones from other people that you save that you want to repurpose instead of recreating the wheel. You're going to really love exploring communication. I have given a talk before where I talk about communication and talk about it being spicy because a lot of people think communication is boring, like blah, blah, blah. It's the last thing we have to do before go live, send an email. And I just want to say that no, it is not boring. Let's think of it as spicy. Make communication fun, make it interesting and something that people want to learn more about and do better so that we can have transparency. We can put out fires and rumblings early and proactively. So that is the high level overview of the Get Organized at Work Blueprint course. There is much more in there. There are tutorials, there are PDF lessons for each PDF slides for each lesson and module. I have homework in there for you. The course has its own course feed and chat. So if you get stuck or in certain instances, I ask you to go post in the feed or chat with your homework so that it's really a community feel. And of course, if you are in the course, you will have access to the free Get Organized at Work podcast community to continue to network with people from the podcast. But just keep in mind, not everyone who is in the podcast community will have access to the course. So it's very exclusive, but it's really cool because it's all in one place. What I love about the podcast community and where the course is hosted is that it's really easy to use on your mobile, on your phone, whether you have Android or an Apple device, and it's easy to use on your computer in the browser. So wherever you're at, it's super streamlined. It's not buggy at all. You can watch the lessons, watch all the videos. And as you tick off courses, it'll mark off the ones you've completed and just make it really easy for you to keep track. Everything is in one place. And when you're on your phone, it's actually an app that you can download, and then it will take you straight to my course or my community section, and you'll see the course right inside the community. So it's super streamlined. So anyways, I'm very excited to put this out into the world after many iterations of like various lessons and getting feedback from people listening to the podcast. And I'm just excited after I've taken this podcast course and I'm seeing the numbers grow. So I know many more of you are listening and new people are joining every single day. So thank you so much for being here. If you haven't reached out before, I would love it if you join my email list, sent me a note, say hello, or join my free podcast community so that we can get to know each other. I'm pumped to be announcing this, and I will hopefully see you inside the community around 4 p.m. Central today if you're listening live March 30th. Otherwise, if it's after that, the course is live and linked for you in the show notes or the description so you can check it out. All right, until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.